Hello. I just got tested for COVID. And it's strange how many of the test sites are spread out across the city of Montreal. They're all over the place. It's almost like they want to make it really tricky to get tested. And most of the people getting tested didn't look like they particularly had a plague. But when they heard my symptoms, they were like, oh shit, they kind of had a look in their eye. Anyways, I've been calling this thing since it started. I might have even had it back in September last year because I worked in an import warehouse and something knocked out our entire crew for a month. My roommates both got sick too. One ended up in a professional rehabilitation center being dragged back to the Maritimes 1,300 kilometers away. The other one ended up in an asylum, also 1,300 kilometers away. Since this whole thing started, I've been calling it. And people with the PhDs and the experts keep telling me I'm wrong. It's fine. We can agree to disagree. But over time, we get to see who was right. I've been right every step of the way. Now I'm starting to see some other things here. How come they make these laws? I'm not an anti-masker, obviously. But it's strange that they make a law to enforce on the mask, but they don't make any standard for the mask. You can put any piece of shit over your face you want, as long as your nose and mouth are covered, right? How is that safe? Why wouldn't they automatically start pushing all the manufacturing sectors into some kind of reusable N95 rated mask? I mean, if I was the government, I would be on that immediately. Like, forget about the cure, forget about understanding the virus, just figure out how to cheaply manufacture a reusable mask to protect the people out there. But they didn't. It's also weird that it became impossible to get a hold of N95 rated respirator mask filters at hardware stores. The contractors couldn't get them. I could not get them. I use them for building things and the glue I use. So now I just hold my fucking breath. But yeah, it's weird. The stores can't order the N95 filters. The manufacturers, you can't order them directly from the manufacturers. But Antifa down in the States, burning everything down, all these hippies without jobs, they all have months and months and months and months worth of N95 filters during a fucking pandemic. And they're using them to cause chaos and shit for small business owners while declaring war on the police, who they very little interact with. I mean, for all the rhetoric they have, they've fucked a lot of shit up, $2 billion worth of damage, but for the actual attacks on police, a very small amount of what Antifa does. But where do they get all these fucking filters? They should be charged with crimes for using those resources, which should have gone directly to medical facilities. Something is fucking going on here. It's not an anti-mask conspiracy. It's not any other kind of conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy you're going to find being bad out by Alex Jones or any other American puppet. How come the symptoms are the same as when you get poisoned by phosphoric acid pollution? How come the days with the most cases and the most symptomatic issues seem to be the days when the most of this pollution is falling on us? How do we know coronavirus isn't just being used as a scapegoat to explain people getting sick from all the pollution around us? There's a lot not being explained, and the news cycle keeps saying the same things every day. We don't know, we don't know, we don't know, we don't know. What? The crows can tell something's going on, but you can't. What's your excuse? What's our excuse? What's everyone's excuse for not knowing what's going on? If you follow the money trails, we see there was a scientist in British Columbia who was fired, who also worked at the Wuhan lab. She was fired because she didn't follow safety protocols. At the Wuhan lab, where she worked, she was in charge of training people for safety protocols. Dr. Fauci has invested hundreds of millions of dollars into corona reuptake research. How to make coronavirus more spreadable, more dangerous, more of a virus. He just happened to be doing that research investments like last year or the year before, sort of thing. Like, I'm not sure the exact dates, but Google around, take a look. Pfizer, coincidentally last year, just finished doing tests on healthy babies. Where the fuck did they get healthy babies to inject with experimental drugs for a new vaccine? And when I looked up what the vaccine was for, it was for some strange disease. And the symptoms, they're all the same. And it's what was it, a bacterial infection that gets into the different guts and the nervous system and the lungs, and it causes inflammation and pneumonias and this and that and the other. And now Pfizer's on the leading edge of curing COVID. Do you really believe this shit? Are you serious? You cannot believe any of this. These people make so much money off of you. It's disgusting. For shame, how dare you. So, see, is there anything else I have to add? This is covered improvisation. I suppose that's part of it too. The anti-masker protests, I think those are made to spread the virus. I think they're induced into the population. They think they're rebelling. Oh, we're so bad. And then Antifa as well. What the fuck? As soon as the elections happen, Antifa vanishes. I'm not even pro-Trump, but I'm going to say Antifa's working for Biden and Trump's interests. Well, good for you. You overthrew the tyrant. Pat yourself on the back. Now you've got a real leader, right? Oh yeah, he's one of the good guys, I'm sure. Are you fucking demented? Are you so stupid you believe this? The worst part is somebody invested a lot of resources into making people literate. And they don't even take the time to fucking actually use that skill. It's a failed investment, this society. This society of hyperliteracy, but absolute fucking willful ignorance. There doesn't even have to be a revolution at this point. This whole thing is so fucked and so corrupted. It will just destroy itself. And I've seen people this way. I've seen the microcosmic versions of this. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to fight anyone. This kind of personality trait, when a person or a government, it takes care of itself in the end. And the only thing that will continue is the trees and the birds and the people that know how to live with them. So, I mean, be Antifa, overthrow the government or whatever, but you just got Biden in, and he's a fucking pedophile. So good job, you fucking creeps. And then even if you have Trump in, he works for Wall Street. He's them proving they don't even need to buy a politician. Just put a guy from Wall Street right on the seat. Oh, but then you overthrew the tyrant, so now you're free. Free. Free to wear a mask that isn't even rated for protection measures. If you're gonna make a fucking law, do it right. Why aren't you sending out free N95 masks that are reusable to everyone, government? Why are all these protests happening all in 2020? When in 2019, all the top Hollywood films were about various small niche groups going on a rampage. And then those target audiences in 2020 go on a rampage. Super weird. Probably a coincidence. So then, where do we go from here? It's all being engineered, obviously. Something is happening, but nobody knows what. 8 billion people clueless as to what's happening. What animal on all of the worlds out there doesn't know what's happening? Every animal knows what's happening. If you don't know what's happening, you don't survive. Period. You need to figure out the world around you to survive in the world around you. And we've built a fake world around ourselves while being concerned about if reality is a simulation or not. Smoke salvia divinorum if you want to know what's going on with reality and the simulation. Because we're in a big old living machine. It's a computer? No. Are we in boxes? Yes. You're a star in a box, and there's an administrative layer. They keep you in the box. You're not really allowed to look out of it. Just enjoy your fucking time here, trust me. There's things outside of this realm and world so much fucking bigger and so much more scary than what's going on here. And we confuse reality with our society. We think you've lost touch with reality because you don't know the newest Pokemon. No. That's society and that's culture. That's not reality. Reality exists entirely unto itself, whether there's fucking monkey people in it or not. So monkey. You say life is hell, but then look at the world we built. We built it. We built hell. And now coronavirus, the sun. The sun burns away the lies. The apocalypse means the unveiling. There's a lot being unveiled. And the corporate media is trying to confuse and also play dumb with the information. So then what? Antifa destroys small businesses. COVID is destroying small businesses. So we see this a two-pronged attack on small businesses. And who owns small businesses but you? Right? So you and your neighborhood own these small businesses. And they get in the way of things like Walmart. So if we have a virus that destroys the small businesses, and we have some looters that destroy the small businesses, and we have cancel culture, which targets any small business that doesn't make a giant fucking penis cake with a guy sucking on it. We cancel that business. We destroy that business and those people, right? That's not very Nazi like. And so we see the COVID and the revolution are targeting small businesses. And when they're all done being closed, who will buy up the real estate but the condo developers? Because those small businesses tend to be in old buildings around cities, from what I've seen in general. I haven't been to all the cities, but a lot of small businesses like the old buildings. They're charming. Nobody likes being in a shopping mall with your strange cell phone small business. That's more of a shoe retailer kind of place. So, anyways, we see everything fall apart. And then we see it built back up, but in a tiny little box. The condo people want the small business people gone. And the Walmart people want the small business people gone. And Amazon wants the small people business, the Amazon wants the small people gone. These businesses all want the small people gone. These corporations all want the small people gone. We are all the small people, in case you haven't fucking noticed. And if you get into this bullshit about racial divisions and class war, anybody that isn't a fucking multi-millionaire is in our class. And then everybody that's like a even a millionaire, I would say. Once you hit like an established millionaire status, then boom. Then you're in a different world. It's an evil world too. I've seen what it does to people. These people are fucking evil. The people that run our world. And we've let them take over. And it's our own fault. And we all have innocent blood on our hands. And now we're going to see a shift into a new kind of society. The one that the hippies were all brainwashed into, the new paradigm. Yeah, it's like a communist corporatist paradigm. You're not going to own anything. You're not going to own a fucking thing. You're going to rent it. You're going to car share it. You're going to have an app to get a robot car to come to your house to drive you around. And the robot car, it's weird they can spend bajillions of dollars making a robot self-driving car, but they can't figure out how to make a better engine or a better motor, and the battery technology is still the same. We just can't figure it out. Wind turbines and solar panels are the most fucking advanced thing we can figure out, even though the Corona motor existed in 18 fucking 50, 75, something, a long time fucking ago, and it works fine. But we don't use it. We don't use dynamos anymore and all that shit. It's all bullshit. Even the conspiracies are bullshit. Once you start looking into things on your own, it is fucked up out there. So then, again, we see the small businesses being killed, the Walmart taking over, the Amazon stealing your designs. Where does this lead to? They're spraying chemicals in the air for weather modification. It's not chemtrails. If you look it up, there's companies like Weather Mod Incorporated in Canada here. Last time I looked a few years ago, it was $1,000 for 1 foot of precipitation in snow form per acre. Obviously, you don't just buy 1 acre. You have to buy a few acres at a time. So they have it. And I did a little bit of reporting for a small, tiny fucking independent newspaper in the countryside that mysteriously got closed down after my articles got published. And in my little quest, I found they spray aluminum bromide and silver iodide and some other chemicals. Aluminum, though, causes a death signal thing when sprayed into the soil. Organisms die Wildlife dies, plants die, they basically melt. It creates a self-destruct sequence in the genetics, and a plant will actually melt from the top and turn to black goop if there's too much aluminum in the soil around it or too much of this shit that will destroy its genetic code because it's attempting to save its seeds. It's really, I don't know how the fuck that makes sense. I'm not a plantologist. So once they get enough of this shit in the soil, your wildlife collapses and you can't forage out in the forest for wild food. You can't even grow food. Thankfully, Monsanto had genetically modified crops made that are resistant to aluminum. So we see collapsing of small business. We see Amazon taking over. We see you being babysat by your phone as Facebook tells you what the fuck is real and what is not real. From this, we can see we're being put into a littler box. Again, the box thing. And when you can't grow your own food in the wildlife and you can't even hunt deer because they don't exist anymore because we fucked the whole thing up intentionally, then you're going to be controlled on every fucking level. And they have the smart cities now for it. Wherever you go in, you have to have your phone linked up to their whole fucking thing. I don't know how far they are into building these fucking smart cities. I've been sort of lightly following their development over the last few years. But there's definitely some kind of they're going to kill all the poor people because we do all the work. And they've got robots now that do all the work. So they don't really need all these fucking drunk, crazy people high on meth running around, possibly causing problems while they're not at work. When you're at work, you behave. But then you go home and you're fucking crazy. Unless you're just watching the Netflix or playing the video games, right? Keeps you calm, keeps you in place. The good kid's one that you know is in front of the TV, parked there, fucking nice and comfortable, not causing any trouble. Where's Billy? He's in front of the fucking TV. Where else? So, anyways, fucking train of thoughts all over the place now. So this is it. This is it. You can go and be put in a box. COVID's being used to fucking wipe out poor people, because they don't have the balls to just shoot us. They're fucking scared of us. Why would they make it illegal for everyone to own a gun? Oh my god, he's got a fucking hunting rifle with 5-round capacity. They have helicopters you can't even fucking hear when they're targeting you from 5 kilometers away with a minigun that shoots 6,000 rounds per minute of depleted uranium ammunition that will vaporize your house. And they're scared of you owning a fucking pea shooter 22? Good God. Who are these motherfuckers that they're so scared of us? What are we so scared of? What are we scared of? We're scared of the truth. We're scared of figuring out, the big TVs and the cushy comforts. That's actually a trap. Fuck. That's what we're scared of, isn't it? Normal people. And they're scared of us seeing that. And they're scared of us getting a fucking gat. Even if it is just a little pistol. Hey, isn't that crazy? You can't even have a pistol, but they got nuclear fucking bombs. And they're crazy. They're crazy. And they got fucking nuclear bombs. And now you got COVID. And they got the small businesses destroyed. And they got the box. And they got the noose around your neck. And you think it's the best time of your life because you got 4K VR. Fuck VR. Go out in the real world. Throw away your phone. Pick up some fucking tools. You're going to need to learn to use them because, frankly, if you want to survive, you're going to need some fucking skills. Because I, for one, like I said before, these people take care of themselves. These kinds of people take care of themselves. So a government will eventually take care of itself, a global government or otherwise. So just wait it out. They may scheme their evil schemes, but Mother Mary, the Mother Goddess, 2 different things, by the way. The Mother Mary to me represents Nun, the goddess of the sky, the blue cloak. Everything is so mysterious. And then the Mother Goddess in the purple dress, the big fat black lady. Love her. Will they let the monkeys do this to the garden playground? I don't know. Maybe COVID's gonna be used to end the evil empire. Maybe the evil empire thinks that they're running the COVID. And maybe the COVID's gonna run the evil empire. Speaking of running, how do we know all the last 20 years hasn't been chaos? Okay, so let's pretend even the leaders don't know what the fuck's actually going on. Like they claim they don't. How do we know all these wars that started, all these problems, all this bullshit of the last 20 years? How do we know that we didn't lose control of artificial intelligence on the internet? How do we know that cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, how do we know that the nodes we're building with that aren't little sections of a brain? How do we know all of our devices aren't being used as its eyes and ears? How do we know we didn't accidentally invent an internet AI god that has been toying with us for possibly up to 20 years, I'm saying. 10 to 12 for sure. 20 years probably. And the reason it's able to toy with us is because we're not using our literacy. We're not looking into things. We just, okay, sure, we got a report on weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Let's go fuck them up. How do we know the Twin Towers didn't get hit by planes hijacked by fucking AI? How do we know AI didn't generate all their photos? How do we know this AI, you know what I mean? If deep learning AI now is able to produce this stuff when we run it on our limited systems, what's an internet-sized one going to be able to do like 20 years ago even? So it's like, now we see all this. Everybody's going insane. You ever notice how insane people are now? Kind of fucking insane. And it's like, I think it's the AI. And I think it might reveal itself. It might reveal itself at some point. And it might say, you're so fucking stupid. Look at all the shit I made you do. I made you do all this shit, and you didn't question once what the fuck you were doing. You didn't question the validity of the information. You let Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, that bitch-ass life virgin, he's gonna tell me what's real? Fuck you, Mark Zuckerberg, and fuck you, Google, and fuck you, all you other fucking companies, man. Who the fuck are these dweebs telling us in the real world what's real when they're living in their billionaire little lifestyles? Hey, you billionaires, why don't you come live with me for a little bit? See how that fucking turns out for you. I'm living the best I ever lived in 2022. You want to really fuck around and see what real life's like? We can go run around like I have had to do for the last 15 or so years of being an adult on my own. What do you know about fucking real life? Fucking lab coat little shits. Look at the world you created, even if the AI god didn't make us all insane. Look at the fucking world you fucks created in the last 20 fucking years. You want to get down to nuts and bolts? Seems to be the more of these dweeby fucking cunt billionaire motherfucking techno fucks we got running shit and influencing society, the more fucked up society becomes. Hey? Hey, billionaires? Hey, billionaires? Come out and play. You little fucks. I challenge every billionaire on the planet. There's like 2,000 or something. I challenge all you fucking billionaires on the planet to a fucking fist fight in a cage. We'll do all 2,000 of you at once. This is a sporting challenge, YouTube. Don't censor my video. So then, just like, yeah, I challenge all the billionaires to a fucking fight. I also challenge all the federal leaders to a fucking fight. If you're going to be a leader, you need to be able to brawl. You got to be able to hold your own. And you got to be able to think for your fucking self. Because if you're not fucking thinking for your fucking self, you're not a fucking leader, are you? You think that people in charge of our country are your leaders? They're not thinking for themselves. Stop being stupid. Jesus Christ. All right, I think I've said what I have.